Yes, you read that thumbnail correct. The Pierce nutsack story. Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Good moto morning. Welcome to Kraken's Garage, to another episode of my fireside chats, where I talk about unusual happenings in my lifetime of riding for over 45 years. Before we start this video, I'm going to put the caveat on this video that this is adult content and not meant for children. I'm not sharing this story to offend or appall somebody. You have been duly noted, so you should probably leave now if you aren't interested in this video. Today's topic is the Pierce nutsack. And where this story begins is in California. My father at that time, Pop, had two Indians, a 1947 Indian chief and a 1946 Indian chief with a sidecar with a functional reverse. And my stepmother and my dad used to go to a lot of the Indian gathering events to, of course, share his fun and love and joy of these two bikes. This particular one was held in Arizona, and he wanted to ride his bike from SoCal, Southern California, to Arizona. And he was taking Ann, my stepmother, in the sidecar. She was riding two up on the 46, and he wanted me to ride the 47. So we got in a huge heated debate because I didn't want to ride that rickety old bike from Southern California to Arizona. I had little faith that it would fall apart or break down on me on the road, whatever. When you ride something that old, until you've done that, you don't know what I'm talking about. But at 55 miles an hour, that bike felt like it was going to grenade. Felt like it was going 100 miles an hour. And how this unfolded is I said I would trailer the bike and I will ride it around at the event and I'll trailer it back to Southern California. It's the only way I'm going to do this and ride that bike. It's too much going on for me, a young man at the time in my 20s, to navigate this old bike that far. It was out of my comfort zone. So apparently I had the balls of a flea on that one, according to him. So he was less than displeased, but off we went. So we made our way down to Arizona, southeast of Southern California, quite a long trip. It was quite hot, very desert area, arid area to host the event. Too much coffee. I got to go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. So basically, we showed up to the event. There was probably 40, 45 Indian motorcycles there, various years and vintage. Kind of a cool event to go to and get to see all these bikes. Most of them, if not all of them, were in riding condition. So these people didn't just show them, they actually rode them, much like my father. We had a wonderful event up to a point. Then another gentleman showed up at this event riding his Indian, vintage Indian, two up with his girlfriend on the back. And he was wearing Daisy Dukes, and that's an American term referring to, there was a show on television called Dukes of Hazzard that's kind of been ostracized now because the car in that show, the General Lee, had a Confederate flag because these boys were from the South, according to the show, and they had a Confederate flag on the roof, and that has pretty much been removed from television. But what the Daisy Duke reference is, for those of you in the rest of the world, is the very short shorts. Basically, they were cut off right almost at the crotch level, and this girl Daisy used to wear them in the show, and she was a knockout. She was a heartthrob for a lot of us when we were young during that period of time, at least in my life. She still is. I actually have met her. I plan to make a ride over to Cooter's garage, which the mechanic from that show has a tribute to the Dukes of Hazzard very close to me. That's a video for another day. So back to the story. This gentleman with the Daisy Dukes on, very shorty shorts, and he was wearing no shirt. So basically shorts and that was it. No underwear, unfortunately. He had a pierced nipple with a chain on it that went down to his pierced scrotum. Now I'm trying to approach this topic as gingerly as I can. So this guy's walking around enjoying the environment of the festivities of the event with this chain going right up his shorts, and occasionally his nut would flash out of his shorty shorts, and the crowd was appalled. And most of these people are probably in the 40 to 70-year-old range. These were established people that can afford to buy a vintage motorcycle and keep it on the road as a hobby and enjoy motorcycling from that perspective. And this was a very young man, probably in his mid to late 20s, and he was totally in on that. But all the wives of these gentlemen that were attending this rally were super offended at witnessing this. No, I don't have any pictures of the guy. No, I didn't have the balls, pun intended, to run up and take a picture of the nipple nut ring or whatever. That was a little out of my comfort zone. So the guys got together, and I was part of that team meeting, I guess, if you will. And we kind of had to kick around how this was going to be handled. And after much deliberation, I just spoke up and I said, somebody needs to talk to the dude, and I'll be happy to do it. I'm the youngest one here out of all of us. I'll go have a pep talk with him. And most of the guys were non-confrontational, so they were more than happy to pass the buck on to me. Pop wanted no parts of that. He said, I can't have my son do this. I'll take care of it. And I'm like, you know, Dad, just come with me and let's get this over with, all right? So we go over and talk to the gentleman. Unfortunately, his girlfriend was there to have this conversation, and Pop approached him. I have an appointment to get to. I'll be right back. Sorry for the interruption, folks. So where did we leave off? Pop and I were going to talk to the gentleman. Pop took lead and approached the issue with him as gingerly as he could, and basically said, sir, you know, there's the way you're dressed is kind of offensive to some of the people here, including myself. Could you do us a favor and maybe put on some long pants and a t-shirt while you're walking around here and that kind of thing? Mr. Pierce Nutsack was kind of perturbed about it and pushed back and said, I think I dress fine, this is just fine. And I said, I interjected and I said, Pop, is it all right if I take the lead here? And he said, sure. And I said, sir, let me spell it out for you. Nobody wants to see your nutsack, all right? It's nasty. It's hanging out, and it's got a piece of metal skewered through it, and it's tied up to your nipple on a chain. I support anybody that wants to express themselves, but there's a time and a place. This ain't the time or the place. So put some pants on and a t-shirt, or hit the frickin' bricks. Am I clear? Kind of steamed for a minute. Looked like he was ready to throw a punch at me. He was so mad. And he yelled a bunch of obscenities at us, mostly me, and hopped on his Indian with his girl on the back, and off he went and roared down the road, chain flapping in the breeze. You know, God help that guy if he ever snags that chain on something, climbing on and off of the bike. It's going to be a mess. Just saying. That's the nuts and bolts of this whole story. I hope you enjoyed the story. It's most unusual. I apologize. I hope I didn't offend anybody, as this is kind of adult content, thus the caveat at the beginning of this video. And I thought it was worthy of talking about. Dad, Nan, and I have had a lot of laughs over that very event over the years, reminiscing about it. It was actually pretty funny, but I thought you might enjoy it. I don't have any pictures of the gentleman. It was not a Kodak moment, if you hear what I'm saying. Anywho, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, folks, go riding because it's good for you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.